Noticing some things like not long after cutting myself with the box cutter, I started noticing that I kept waking up at night, like not only in excruciating pain from my leg, but also like real deep pain in these parts of my jaw. And then a few days later, I'm waking up and my jaw's kind of off to the side, and I have to literally push it over there. And this thing is going on and on and on. And I had told Timothy, well, you know, I lost my insurance, you know, when I retired from being pastor, and then I got some other insurance, and then I dropped it, and then I haven't gone to get Mass Health because I just haven't wanted to wait in any line and fill out in any forms, and I really don't need doctors anyway. I know how to do this stuff myself. Thank God that Timothy insisted on taking me to the emergency room the other day, because I was in the beginning stages of lockjaw, and the nurse was so awesome. She went, "It wouldn't do for a preacher to get lockjaw." I'm trying to save myself some money by not going to the emergency room, but I could have ended up not being able to talk for 5 months. Try that money loss out for size. And then I was also on the verge of getting staph infection. So like I got all this regime with antibiotics, and you know, and the doctor, he was so awesome. I came in there and I said, man, I am in so much pain already that whatever you give me to numb me before you do your little operation, I want you to make sure you give me a lot. And he's like, well, it stings. And I'm like, dude, a lot. I'm so glad none of you saw me on that little hospital gurney. I'm on my belly. He is sticking a 4-inch needle, like, to me it's like it's gonna come out the other side if you keep pushing. And I have my sweatshirt, like my mouth stuffed with sweatshirt, and as Tim is my witness, I'm like a little kid getting their very first shot. I was such a baby. And while I'm going, oh, 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 I'm going, see how crazy you are, Carly? You can be so sane in some ways and so crazy in others. And I think once before I told you, well, last year I was trying to do the same thing with an abscessed tooth. Oh, I'm going to heal it. And I watched myself go tell people, oh, you know, I recently became Reiki Master of Masters. Oh my God, when I lay hands on that spot, my hands are as hot pokers. Looks like I just put them out of the fire. You know God is at work. You know, my ego was at work. I wanted it to heal so that I'd be out of pain, but I think I wanted it to heal even more so that the word would get out. Oh my God, his getting Reiki Master of Masters sure did something. He's elevated. He laid hands on himself and healed himself. That boy is something else. I love to be honest with Carlos. If I don't, who will? I watch myself still seeking the living among the dead sometimes, seeking to find some sort of satisfaction by allowing my ego to take credit for whatever it is in my life that only God deserves the credit for. And the things that I admire myself for my willingness to look upon the whole story of Carlos's experience and to go, this is who I am, I embrace it and accept it. Now who do I choose to be? I'm gonna choose what is. And now who do I vote that I want to be? I had a friend who, 5 years younger than me, who took his last breath on Tuesday evening, and I went to a memorial service for him last evening. And while I was at the memorial service, there was one friend that was absent, and he's a friend of ours whose business he's just lost his business. He had to shut the doors on his business. And there were many of his friends gathered around. And I noticed something. I noticed that several of his friends were as excited as high school cheerleaders to find out that he had lost his business, that the business folded. They were like wolves over a carcass. They were figuring out how to get this business, how to purchase this business now that he has financially lost it. And if we pull our money, we can get it. I opened my mouth and said, how can we help him? And they were like, I ain't thinking about trying to help him. I'm thinking about how to buy his place. And I went, there's nothing wrong with their choice. As I observed it, no shame, no blame. This is not picturing a possibility that is within me. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be when someone's business folds? Do I want to be someone who is there for them, or do I want to come in like a wolf to see what scraps I can get because they failed? Who do I want to be on the scene? I have often thought that my assignment from God is to make sure that wherever I am, there is a representative of God on the scene. A representative of good on the scene. A representative of love. A representative of peace. That's who I'm wanting to be on the scene. I don't want to be among those people who have rocks in their hands trying to find somebody to stone in the name of God, because they are non-righteous and I am righteous, and so I can throw my stone, whether it's an actual rock or whether it's just the stone of my judgment. Before coming into the year 2012, I took deep time to look through my life. One benefit of me messing up of self-operating and being bedridden was that being bedridden for most of the last 3 weeks afforded me the benefit of doing a really on-point 3 hours a day of meditation, an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and an hour in the evening. Looking through, trying to find, meditating. Carlos, is there anybody you're holding a grievance with? Is there anybody you're judging against? Is there any place that you're judging yourself? Is there any place where you're judging life? Where you're judging the Creator? Where you're judging what is? I want it to come up so that I can see it. I want to be awake to it so that I can allow it to move on through me. I don't want to take that stuff into the year 2012. Been doing so good with the no complaining thing that in the spirits level, I was blown away that I actually could be in that much pain without complaining. Now, I wasn't complaining, but I was acting stupid. So I go, oh, okay, well, you're doing pretty well with the complaining thing. You need to look at how stupid you can be sometimes. Whether it's stupid by taking a box cutter to your leg, or whether it's the stupidity of being willing to tithe 10% of your income to the source of your spiritual good, which is right and appropriate and powerful, but it's not the whole thing. The scripture doesn't just say, bring 10% of your tithes, the top of your prize, to the house of God. Then it says, and be you a good steward of the remaining 90%. I have tithed faithfully all my life. I love it. I feel the power of it. I know that it has brought joy, peace, understanding, health, and greater prosperity into my life. But to tell the truth about Carlos, he still has a lot of work to do on what to do with that remaining 90%. I've been instructed to be a good steward of that remaining 90%. One thing I've noticed about Carlos, like in the various phases of his life, he translated his 90% into, okay, you pay the bills with this and then you go shopping. You don't pay the bills and save. No, there's stuff to buy out there. And I have applauded myself because some of the stuff I used to buy, I would never think of buying anymore. Poison, dangerous stuff, useless stuff. And so I pride myself, if I overspend on dishes, more pots and pans. We have more dishes and pots and pans in our house. You would think that it was the retreat at West Cornwall.
Amen.
You would think that we got 60 to 80 people coming in weekly, and we got enough knives and forks and plates and bowls and pots and pans for that many people.
Preach, Pastor.
And I get teased about it by everybody. I can't believe it. Like, are you addicted to buying dishes now? Now it's not some of the drugs and rock and roll, and you're not addicted to going out and partying and clubs and stuff like that anymore. But do you get that you're addicted to buying dishes? Like, oh yeah, I get it. I get it. So this 90% good stewardship, that's something for me that I look forward to, that I have declared that I'm going to do a quantum leap in the year 2012. I actually allowed myself to go into TJ Maxx and come out with one pot. that I needed. That I needed. Didn't I, Tim?
You did need it.
I did need it. I couldn't fit all my chili into the biggest pot. So, looking at myself and just being excited, I am so excited about this new year because it affords a new opportunity. Say, Carlos, you know you're doing okay. I told my church, I told Hope Church on Christmas, when Timothy and I when the car got totaled on our way here at the end of last winter, and I thought that my time was over, and I heard the words, well done. I felt like a kid in grade school who had the teacher come and put my test back down on my desk, face down, and say, well done, Carly. And then she walks on, and I flip it over, and I find that it's a B, or even a B+. And I go, well done? Yeah, that's okay. But there's an A+ in me. So I heard the words, well done. It's like, well, if I heard well done, saw my life flash, why am I still here? I think I'm here so that I can get to a point where I'm living at an A+ level. And not to be satisfied with B+, and certainly not a B. A+. An A+ in my capacity to hold my peace in the middle of a storm. An A+ in my capacity to acknowledge, Carlos, you are the creator of your entire world of experience. You're walking among your creations. An A+ in taking responsibility for my intelligence that flows through me and my moments of silliness, operating on myself with a box cutter. Now, most people who know me say, you seem far too intelligent than to do that. And I said, don't I though? I said, don't I? I see me too, yeah. I seem way too intelligent for that. But I did it. So I've got some work to do. I said, last year I did it with an abscessed tooth, walking around in pain for weeks and weeks and months, trying to do it with Reiki. Laid on hands, come on, Jesus, anoint me, come on. Doing my little Buddhist mantras and all this stuff. Doing my little rituals, lighting some smudge and some sage, burning candles. And that tooth was saying, dude, get to the dentist. And finally I did. And I went, Carlos, you're so silly. Let that be the last time you do anything like that. And it was the last time until this time. I affirm with you, my brother David, that it's the last time now, at least for a long, 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 long time. God is so good, and God has empowered us with an opportunity to be easy and gentle on ourselves, to choose this moment, and to know that we're going forward. Life is all about choice. The last series of classes that Brother David gave us was a class that began with saying commitment, being committed to being all you can be. Commitment means you won't change your mind when the going gets rough, when the screaming starts, when the kicking starts, when the feedback happens, when the world comes and says, are you sure? That you will not change your mind, that you are fully committed. And so I invite all of us to reestablish a deeper, full commitment to being all we can be. Because we're born to be extraordinary. We're born to be miraculous. We're born to be the light of the world. And so as we enter into the ministry for this year here, I join with you in making the choice to be all that we can be. When I spoke to you last, I said that that will require walking away from your fear. It will require dropping the rock of condemnation, blame, and judgment. And to just try on stepping outside of your fear and trusting in the universe. It will require us taking full responsibility that the world I live in is not the world that my mother created, or my father, or my siblings, or the powers that be. The world that I inhabit is the world that I have created. And this morning I'm grateful that I've created all of you, my sisters and my brothers, in my world. In my world, meeting where we're meeting for the purpose we are meeting for. To deepen the memory of who we are and whose we are, and to wake up from the dream of separation from God, and good. When the Buddha lay about to take his last breath, his disciples gathered around him and said, "Won't you tell us who you are? You have yet to tell us who you are. Are you the true Messiah?" And the Buddha said, "No, I'm not." "Are you my highest self?" "No, I am not." "Are you an ascended being who came here for a while?" "No, I am not." "Who are you then?" And the Buddha said, "I am awake." All we have to do is stay awake. In a world that will do its best to mesmerize us and hypnotize us into falling asleep and forgetting we're in heaven right here on earth.
Yes.
If you will join me in being all you can possibly be, will you stand up and say, "Yes, I will"?
Yes, I will.